All right, so here we have hold on. We have caught on camera, brutal murder stuns the neighborhood. True crime documentary. We're back with another documentary. I hope you guys are doing fine. We're gonna go ahead and watch this. Hold on. Let's go. We're ready. Hold on.
It was November 16th, 1995, and Linda Sobek had an exciting day planned. She had a last-minute photo shoot and an audition for a popular TV show lined up. That afternoon, she left home feeling confident.
What was the TV show, though?
And ready to seize both opportunities. But by the end of the day, something went horribly wrong. Linda never returned. At first, her disappearance appeared to be a baffling mystery. As the search unfolded, strange clues and unsettling details began to surface. What should have been an ordinary day had taken a dark and unforeseen turn. What truly happened to Linda and who was responsible? Linda Sobek was born on July 9, 1968, in Los Angeles, California. She was the second child of Robert Sobek and Elaine. Her older brother, Steve, quickly became a close companion, and their parents worked hard to instill strong values in their children. As a young girl, Linda was shy and deeply connected to her family. She treasured camping trips with her father and brother, while also enjoying mother-daughter moments, sharing hugs and engaging in creative projects with Elaine. As she entered high school, Linda grew into a more outgoing and self-assured teenager. Her natural beauty drew attention, and her mother encouraged her to enhance her features with light makeup. Under Elaine's guidance, Linda joined a modeling agency. Though initially hesitant, she quickly became captivated by the modeling world, displaying poise and confidence in front of the camera, even as she navigated her early lack of experience. Linda's dedication and hard work earned her several modeling opportunities, including small photo shoots that helped build her portfolio. She also joined her school's cheerleading squad, which further boosted her confidence. By the time she graduated high school in 1986, Linda was certain that modeling was her true passion. Despite her petite stature, which limited some runway opportunities, she steadily booked jobs for catalogs, advertisements, and magazines. At 21, she auditioned for the cheerleading squad of a prestigious NFL team and stood out among thousands of hopefuls.
Which team, though?
Securing a spot on the team was a proud achievement for both her and her family. In 1991, her charisma and skill earned her the title of Cheerleader of the Year, a milestone that brought recognition in the entertainment.
I can't lie, she does look like someone who would cheer for a professional team.
Industry and opened doors to meet celebrities from the worlds of sports and film. 2 years later, after leaving the cheerleading squad, Linda's modeling career began to flourish. She often managed 3 photo shoots in a single day and moved into a shared house with 3 other young women pursuing modeling careers. Despite her hectic schedule, she made it a priority to stay close to her family, particularly her mother, who remained her biggest supporter. Watching Linda thrive in the career she loved brought immense pride and joy to her family. Linda, however, was aware of the unpredictable nature of the modeling industry and began planning for the future, setting her sights on acting. She auditioned for television roles, determined to broaden her career prospect. In October 1995, at an event in Las Vegas, she distributed her business cards to photographers. The following month, she was contacted by Charles Rathbun, a prominent automotive photographer, for a photo shoot. On the morning of November 16, 1995, Linda woke up feeling excited. She had an
Can't lie, bro. She does look good, bro.
audition later that day for the popular sitcom Married with Children. Early that morning, she received an unexpected call for a last-minute photo shoot. With enough time before her audition, she agreed to take it. At 10:45 a.m., she called her mother, mentioning she was rushing out for the session but would call back later. She didn't share any details about the location or the photographer. Later that day, Elaine began to feel uneasy when Linda failed to call back or report on how the audition had gone, as she usually did. Steve tried to reassure her, suggesting that Linda was likely just busy. By the next morning, however, Elaine's worry grew when Linda's housemates revealed they hadn't seen or heard from her at all. When Elaine learned that Linda hadn't attended her audition, her concern escalated into alarm. She contacted the police to report her daughter missing, convinced that something terrible had occurred. Investigators initially interviewed Linda's housemates, who confirmed they last saw her just before she left for the photo shoot. They described her routines, noting that she regularly went to the gym, certain stores, and her favorite restaurant. They also mentioned that Linda kept detailed records of her activities in a planner. Despite a thorough search of her room, the planner was missing. At the gym, staff and patrons expressed their fondness for Linda, noting that she often skipped workouts for modeling assignment. None had seen her the previous day. As the investigation continued, detectives encountered a significant obstacle. No one knew where Linda had gone or who she had been meeting. 2 days passed with no updates. Meanwhile, in a wooded area of Los Angeles County, a sanitation worker discovered several photographs discarded in a dumpster. Struck by the beauty of the woman in the images, he kept a few for himself. Police continued interviewing Linda's ex-partners, business associates, and acquaintances, but none emerged as suspects. No one seemed to harbor any ill will toward her. After 4 days without leads, frustration grew. Determined to take action, Linda's family and friends launched a widespread search campaign. They printed posters featuring her photo, detailed information, and a $20,000 reward for tips leading to her whereabouts. Donations quickly increased the reward fund to $100,000. Her former NFL cheerleading team also issued a public statement, helping to amplify the case through media coverage. The case quickly gained national attention, with TV programs dedicating extensive coverage.
Okay, this is a lot of coverage, though.
Hundreds of tips each day, though none offered concrete lead. The investigation took a turn when the sanitation worker realized that the woman in the discarded photographs matched the missing person featured in the news. He immediately contacted authorities, providing the location where he had found the images. The following day, police searched the area and uncovered additional photographs along with Linda's missing planner. Among the recovered items was a loan agreement for a prototype vehicle dated November 16th, the day Linda disappeared. This document pointed investigators to a specific location, prompting a search that involved volunteers combing the terrain. After several hours, one of Linda's friends discovered her distinctive makeup bag in another dumpster, 7 miles from where the planner had been found. Examining the evidence, detectives noted that the name on the vehicle loan agreement matched a contact in Linda's planner, Charles. Shortly thereafter, police received an anonymous tip about an abandoned car in a California restaurant parking lot. The vehicle matched the description of Linda's car, and upon inspection, officers confirmed it was hers. That same afternoon, Charles Rathbun, a photographer who had occasionally worked with Linda, contacted authorities. He admitted to meeting her on the day she disappeared, claiming they met at a restaurant to discuss her portfolio. Charles stated that he decided she wasn't a good fit for the shoot and that they parted ways in the parking lot. When questioned about the vehicle loan agreement, he denied any knowledge of how it ended up with Linda or in the dumpster. Despite his assertions, Charles became a person of interest, as he appeared to be the last known individual to see Linda alive. Further investigation revealed that Charles and Linda had crossed paths weeks earlier at an auto expo. Later that evening, Charles called the police station, claiming he was unable to come in for questioning. Hours afterward, he contacted a friend while clearly intoxicated, making strange statements that included implicating himself in a missing persons case. He also mentioned owning a firearm and hinted at harming himself. The friend reserve officer with the Los Angeles Police Department quickly went to Charles's home with a colleague to prevent him from acting on these threats. Initially, she hadn't taken his earlier confession seriously, thinking it was just drunken rambling. When officers arrived at Charles Rathbun's residence, it took considerable effort to convince him to come outside. When he finally did, he was visibly intoxicated and still carrying a firearm. During a sudden mishap, the gun discharged, and the bullet ricocheted off the pavement, grazing the friend who had come to assist him.
Bruh.
Although the injury was minor, it provided the police with sufficient reason to arrest Charles inside his home.
Yeah.
Officers discovered a startling collection of over 100 firearms, as well as a bag containing rope, duct tape, alcohol, and a disturbing assortment of photographs. The photographs depicted models posed as if they were deceased. During questioning, Charles dramatically changed his initial story. He now claimed that Linda had been hired for a photo shoot requiring her to drive and perform stunts with the prototype vehicle from the loan agreement. According to his account, the session was to take place near a dry lake bed called El Mirage. According to Charles, while demonstrating stunts by driving in circles, he lost control of the car and accidentally struck Linda with a side mirror. Panicked after realizing she had no vital signs, he claimed to have buried her body in the nearby woods, though he said the trauma left him unable to recall the exact burial location.
What the
Detectives
hell?
were skeptical of his story, but initially lacked concrete evidence to disprove it. Charles was detained temporarily while investigators focused on exposing inconsistencies in his account. The next day, they recovered the vehicle, which had been meticulously cleaned multiple times. Forensic specialists found no external damage or signs of impact consistent with Charles's story. However, closer inspection revealed reddish stains in the crevices of the seats and long blonde hairs. Additionally, a dent on the interior of one of the doors suggested that a violent struggle had occurred inside the car. As the investigation progressed, troubling accounts about Charles began to emerge. Several models who had previously worked with him described him as unprofessional and inappropriate, with behavior that often crossed boundaries and made them uncomfortable.
Yeah, okay, there it is, yeah. If you had any doubt that, he had anything to do, with this whole thing, there you got it.
These testimonies revealed a pattern of harassment, with some models claiming they only agreed to work with him out of obligation. Detectives also discovered
Out of
that Charles
obligation.
faced abuse allegations in Ohio in 1979, though he had been acquitted after asserting the relationship was consensual. This history added to the growing suspicions against him. Lab tests confirmed that the hair and blood stains found in the vehicle matched Linda's DNA. Armed with this evidence, investigators devised a strategy to extract more information from Charles. They pretended to accept his story about the accident and expressed regret that he couldn't remember the burial location, hoping to encourage him to reveal further details. By suggesting that locating her body might help prove his innocence, Charles suddenly claimed to remember the burial site. On November 25, 1995, he guided investigators from a helicopter to a remote location where he said he had buried Linda. After hours of searching, a forensic anthropologist on site helped recover her remains. Surprisingly, the body was remarkably well preserved, which experts attributed to cold weather, high altitude, and minimal sun exposure. Maine, a remote location where he said he had buried Linda. After hours of searching, a forensic anthropologist on site helped recover her remains. Surprisingly, the body was remarkably well preserved, which experts attributed to cold weather, high altitude, and minimal sun exposure, factors that had significantly slowed decomposition over the 9 days she had been missing. The autopsy revealed details that contradicted Charles's account. Linda's legs showed no fractures or abrasions consistent with being struck by a vehicle. Instead, her ankles bore rope marks matching the type found in Charles's home. There were also internal hemorrhages and bruising on her legs, indicating she had been assaulted. Disturbingly, her clothing appeared to have been carefully redressed after death, suggesting a staged scene rather than a hasty burial following an accident. Another significant discovery was the absence of makeup on Linda's face. Despite the claim that she had been involved in a photo shoot, blood tests revealed a high alcohol level, and the cause of death was determined to be asphyxiation, with clear signs that Linda had struggled in her final moments. For her family, learning the horrific details of her last minutes was devastating. The knowledge that she had endured such fear and violence brought unimaginable grief. Charles Rathbun's attorney formally identified Linda's remains through photographs, as her parents and brother were too distraught to view her body in person. Charles was charged with first-degree murder and held on $1 million bail. Despite the overwhelming evidence, he continued to proclaim his innocence. While in custody, he attempted suicide, prompting authorities to place him under strict monitoring,
come on, bro.
partly in an effort to prevent any claims that might reduce his charges to manslaughter. Charles once again revised his account. He claimed that Linda had initiated a romantic encounter, allegedly undressing and attempting to seduce him while he focused on taking photographs. According to him, she became upset when he ignored her advances. He stated that he calmed her down and convinced her to dress again before demonstrating vehicle stunts, which supposedly led to an accident in which she fell and injured her face. He further alleged that he placed her in the vehicle to take her to a hospital, but that she became combative and threatened to sue him. When the situation allegedly escalated, he restrained her by climbing on top of her to subdue her. Charles claimed he later realized she had stopped breathing and made unsuccessful attempts to revive her. Regarding the ligature marks on her ankles, he asserted that they were caused by tying her feet to move her body during the burial. On December 1st, 1995, Linda's funeral was held at the neighborhood church where she had grown up, attended by over 1,000 people, including figures from the modeling industry, family, friends, and strangers touched by her tragic story. The service received extensive media coverage, with heartfelt tributes emphasizing the joy Linda had brought to those around her and the profound loss caused by her untimely death. Her grieving family demanded justice. Investigators, however, found Charles's latest account implausible, as the physical evidence pointed to deliberate violence. Aware of his increasingly tenuous position, Charles offered yet another defense, claiming to have 5 rolls of film showing Linda supposedly participating willingly in consensual activities inside the vehicle, a prototype not yet released to the public. When authorities examined the films, 4 rolls depicted a woman posing in various outfits. The 5th roll contained 13 blurry images of a woman in provocative poses. However, the photos were double exposed on a previously used roll, obscuring key details such as the vehicle's interior and the subject's identity. Investigators sought to determine whether the images had been taken inside the same car and whether the woman was actually Linda. Further analysis revealed that weeks before borrowing the prototype vehicle, Charles had photographed a similar car from a different manufacturer. By comparing official images of that car's interior with the blurry photographs, investigators confirmed that the vehicle in the images was not the one Linda had driven. Additionally, the woman in the photos did not match Linda's physical appearance, and her clothing did not match what Linda had been wearing on the day she disappeared.
Wow.
This version of events was also discredited. Detectives contacted all the models featured in the disturbing posed photographs found in Charles's home to confirm that they had been acting. Meanwhile, media speculation suggested that Charles might be connected to the disappearances of young women from Michigan to California, as well as other unsolved crimes. However, no evidence linked him to any of these cases. Charles's shifting stories and mounting inconsistencies only intensified suspicions regarding his culpability. Amid their grief,
he's unstable, man,
continued
mentally,
to
bro.
demand justice. The trial against Charles Rathbun began in mid-October 1996, with the prosecution arguing that his intent from the outset had been to lure Linda to the remote area with the goal of persuading, or, if necessary, forcing her into an intimate encounter. The prosecution alleged that the lure Linda to the remote area against Charles Rathbun began in mid-October 1996. with the prosecution arguing that his intent from the outset had been to lure Linda to the remote area with the goal of persuading, or, if necessary, forcing her into an intimate encounter. The prosecution alleged that Charles provided Linda with alcohol, a behavior considered unusual for her, and then attempted to coerce her into a sexual relationship. When she resisted, they claimed he assaulted her and ultimately took her life. Two models who had worked with Charles in 1994 testified against him, stating that he had expressed intense dislike for Linda and often spoke about her in derogatory terms. They recounted overhearing him refuse to include her in a swimsuit campaign, insisting he would only work with her if forced to. Within the modeling community, it was widely rumored that Linda had previously rejected Charles's advances, fueling his bitterness toward her. Meanwhile, Charles and his defense team continued to promote the narrative of the so-called photographic evidence. However, this strategy proved ineffective and unconvincing against the mounting evidence. On November 2, 1996, after 6 hours of deliberation, the jury found Charles guilty of first-degree murder and sexual assault. A month later, he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole and was transferred to the California Institution for Men to serve his sentence. As the verdict was announced, Linda's family tearfully embraced each juror in gratitude, determined to channel their grief into something meaningful. The Sobek family chose to donate the $100,000 reward fund to organizations supporting abused women. Even on the 10th anniversary of Linda's tragic death, her family continued to struggle with anger and sorrow, questioning whether her life might have been spared had the judicial system acted on the 1979 abuse allegations against Charles. The idea that Linda's death might have been avoided had Charles been incarcerated years earlier weighed heavily on her family.
Way before meeting her.
Looking back on Linda's life, they spoke of the lasting emptiness her absence created. Her mother emotionally reflected, saying, "The world was a better place when my beloved Linda was in it." Do you think authorities should have taken different action in 1979? Could Charles have been connected to other crimes?
Definitely, I mean, bro. If you already had allegations on him, bro, I mean, that's what it sounds like, but, so damn, bro, this story was crazy, bro. So she really just, she really just died of, she really just died, from asphyxiation, like just really just lack of oxygen, So really the guy, Charles, he really just, strangled her, and then, it was, it was also said that, she was abused, before she died, so damn. It's a crazy story, bro. All she was doing was modeling, but damn, bro. Crazy story, anyway. Sad story. I mean, hey, you guys let me know what you guys think about this you guys let me know what you think about this, in the comments. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.